So as a brief FYI, 2 episodes of March Comes In Like a Lion came out today. So if you only watched one episode, the equivalent of 20 minutes, then you haven't seen the other episode. So stop this video right now if you have not watched both episodes that aired today. And with that good news, I hate to say I have some bad news as well. With the 2 episodes that aired today, it marks the end of March Comes In Like a Lion Season 2. You heard me right. It is the final episode, or the final episodes of this series, and I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss this series a lot. I have thoroughly enjoyed this series, and, you know, it really says a lot. I mean, honestly, March Comes In Like a Lion isn't really that popular on my channel. I know for a fact it isn't, but regardless of it not being popular or not, I've really enjoyed talking about this series. I really love seeing, even if there's a small fraction of our community that, you know, likes the series and watches these videos and talks in the comments, I still love communicating with you guys and talking to you about just how phenomenal March Comes In Like a Lion is. And so, before I go any further and I talk about, you know, these final 2 episodes, I just want to say thank you so much for all of you that have been with me on this journey for March Comes In Like a Lion, because it's been fun, and I've had a lot of fun just, you know, getting to see it for myself, and I might start the manga. I'm not gonna lie, I probably might start the manga. I'm not promising any reviews. I'm gonna be honest here. I'm not promising anything in terms of manga content. I'm just saying I'm probably gonna read the manga because I have loved this series ever since I started it, and I know that Shaft has done a fantastic job. They have followed the manga properly. That's what I have been told. I know for a fact we might not get a Season 3 for a good long while. And I don't know how, you know, I guess popular March Comes In Like a Lion is in Japan. I have no idea if it's doing well or not. So, most likely, we might not get a Season 3. I know Shaft are a studio that will do continuations, even if some time does pass. But, like I said, I don't know just how popular this is in Japan, so we might not ever get a continuation. But getting off of that, though, now that I've given everybody ample enough time to be able to leave the video and watch the other episode if they have yet to see it, these 2 episodes are more of like a send-off for this series. The entire plot point with Takahashi, you know, moving away and going to a high school very far away from Hina and everybody is more of like a symbolic for us in this series. Like, March Comes In Like a Lion is going away. It might go away forever. It might come back eventually. But the message here was that even if something does go away, you gotta remember what you have and what, you know, you can possibly gain in the future, and sometimes it may even come back. And that's kind of the message of Takahashi leaving and going off on his own journey with his life. And it's a sad reality, it is. It's kind of like what I always say, all good things must eventually come to an end. And that's kind of what this is right here, the message of these 2 episodes. And sometimes you don't realize what you're about to lose until it's gone. And that's kind of what this is. What, you know, Takahashi symbolized as for the series and what Hina was losing, and the metaphor of it, of like how she realized how lonely she was, and she keeps losing people one after another, and she doesn't even realize it until they're already gone. For instance, her family, her mother, and her grandmother, they're already gone, and she will never be able to see them again. And so she realizes that she took for granted the time she had with them, and right now, in this present time, she's also in some ways taking for granted the time she has. Spending time with, you know, Rei, spending time with her sisters, you know, she takes for granted all this time, and she doesn't really think about it and cherish it as much as, you know, she probably thinks she does. That's what she was going on about at the earlier stages of the episode. And then, eventually, she found out that she can't think like that. She can't just continue to think like that. She needs to realize that she needs to also focus on the things that she can gain and, you know, continue to gain throughout her life. For instance, Rei, he is used as more along the lines of something that Hina has gained with her life. And as we all know, we've been following Rei as a character since Season 1, and he is someone that has gained so much thanks to these sisters. They have helped him out so much to where he is at right now. He was able to walk in and talk to his stepmother, which is something he never would have done earlier on. Even at the beginning of Season 2, he probably still would have never have done that. So, just what the sisters have done for Rei has changed him so much to where he's even able to walk into the home that he left such a long time ago and be able to, at the very least, come to terms or, you know, accept what has happened. And I feel like that was a perfect way to send off Rei's character development in these final episodes. Like, the beginning of the final episode, it was just like saying, Yes, Ray, he has changed. When you see this light around him, it's very different. It's like complete opposite of how the series first started. You remember when March Comes In Like a Lion first started? We had this like shadowy image of Ray and all that. He was covered in darkness. And when you see an image with Ray just completely covered in light and all that, this golden light, it's like he has now found peace within himself. He is no longer in darkness by himself. He has just this bright future ahead of him. These people are very bright around him, livening up his day, and that's kind of the message of that. So, these two episodes, they concluded Ray's character. And Hina, she also got some development as well. It wasn't just Ray that was getting this development throughout the series and him gaining things. Hina, she gained Ray. Ray is someone that walked into the sister's life, and he helped them out as well. It wasn't just a one-way relationship with Ray getting support from them. He also went out of his way and supported them when they were in time of need. He helped them out in little things that he probably didn't think was even important, but he saved them in a lot of times. And that's kind of also what Hina was trying to say. She also gained Ray, and, you know, he is now someone that she can look forward to having every single day around, and she doesn't have to feel so lonely. Even though Takahashi is leaving, he's continuing his goals with his life, Ray will still be there for the time being, and that's just the message of that entire segment. So, great stuff all around. I think Chef couldn't have handled any better with Hina's character development and also Ray's, and the way that was kind of, you know, shown with the contrast at the beginning of the series and right now. So, stopping right there, I also want to talk about the fact that we also get a little scene with the grandpa at the beginning of, you know, the first episode that came out today. The grandpa goes to a medical checkup, and for the most part, it's a standard medical checkup that you would have someone do of his age, and we found out that he actually didn't like going to the doctors at all. He didn't like getting medical checkups or really caring much for it. He just didn't care if he just dropped dead. But ever since, you know, his wife died and, you know, his daughter died and all that, he's been left with, you know, 3 little ones that he's had to watch over. And he realizes that he can't just leave them right now in the world. If he was to just kill over right now, they would be in a very bad spot. They would be completely alone. He doesn't want to do that to them, and so he's trying to do any way possible to continue on living for he could be there until at the very least they're able to be on their own and do their own thing. And that is why he was talking about like how he wanted them to all get married. He wanted all of them to be able to have someone they could be with, for he didn't have to worry about them anymore. And when, you know, Momo is mentioned, she's like, the thing is Momo is a problem. She's in preschool, and, you know, time that she probably could potentially get a husband, she's at 20, you know, I'm gonna be in my mid-90s, and I'm just like, yo, this man's old as hell. So, I mean, like, this man, he's worrying a lot about it, and I feel like the main message here, what this is trying to show, is that even if he doesn't make it to his 90s, like in mid-90s, I feel like Ray might take that spot. He might take that spot from the grandpa and watch over the family. I feel like that's kind of what was being implied there. Maybe not from, you know, Studio Shaft, but maybe the writer of this series was implying that if the old man was to die, the grandpa, Ray would be there for them. He wouldn't leave them by themselves and let them suffer, not knowing what to do. Ray would be there to comfort them as well, be that type of figure for them. And so, I like that. I don't know if that's what the writer was trying to do. I don't know if that's what Shaft was implying, but that's what I got after watching the episode. Now, one other thing to really mention, though, let's talk about the scene with the school. So, Hina, she studied hard. She studied very, very hard to be able to get into the school with Ray, and as we know, Ray, he wants Hina there, and the reason why is because he's very lonely. It's not just because he has a connection with the sisters. That is partially the reason, yes, but it's because with his seniors, the people above him, they're going to be graduating very soon, and so it wasn't just Hina that was losing people. You also have Ray. He's losing friends that he has finally managed to gain for the first time in his life. I mean, throughout his entire life, he's always been alone. He's always been that outcast. He's always been someone that never had anyone to really talk with. The only one that he's really ever talked with is his sensei, and now the sisters. He's never really got to talk to people and form a bond. And finally he has that, and the very friends that he finally had, they're leaving. They're gone. And the overall message of that was very similar to what Hina was going through in this episode. It's kind of like saying Hina and Ray were going through very similar things with different circumstances, and they both came to their own conclusion, or a very similar conclusion, but with different methods. And that's also tied to the whole bully arc as well. You remember how the bully arc was handled, and how it was stated that, there's different ways of handling bullies, but not all of them are going to work the same way against different people? That's kind of what this is. Hina and Rei, they managed to make it to probably the same outcome, the in-game result, but they had their own methods to get there. And that's just how life works in general, and what this episode was trying to prove too. But getting back on topic though, Hina, she studies really hard to be able to get into the school, and Rei, he was helping her out because he didn't want to be alone as well. And Hina, after trial and error and trying to make it, and get into the school, she manages to pass the exam and get into the school. Sadly, the series has to end right before we get to see Hina's school life, which I'm going to assume the manga will probably show us that if I was to read the manga, which that's why one of the main reasons why I want to read the manga is just to see how Hina interacts with, Rei in school. But, she manages to make it into school, and to kind of signify this fact, for her to kind of cherish it, she wants to get a haircut. Now, I don't know how many of you really are aware of this or not, but haircuts in Japan, cutting your hair short, or, just getting any form of haircut in Japan, is a sign of maturity. This happened to a character in Tokyo Ghoul called Shirazu. I'm not going to go into any character details or anything like that if you have not read the manga, but I mean, Shirazu got a haircut in a certain portion of the manga Tokyo Ghoul Re, and when he got a haircut, it symbolized maturity, that he's trying to grow up and change himself. And with Hina cutting her hair like that, it's kind of like she's wanting to become a new person. I mean, it was kind of stated by Akari, but I want to make sure everybody kind of comprehends that right now, Hina, she wants to make sure she takes the effort to show that she's determined to change, be a high schooler, and walk forward on a new path for her goals. Instead of something like a dream, she wants to turn a dream into a goal, and here you go. That was what the symbolism was when it came to her haircut. But that's about it. So, with that, March Comes In Like a Lion has officially come to an end. Sad to see it go. I really am. I love this series. I had a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun these past couple months, and with season 1 when it aired last year as well. I'm gonna say it. All good things must eventually come to an end. I do hope one day we get a season 3. I really do. And if we don't, well, I guess I have the manga. But Studio Shaft and everyone else that worked on this series, he did a fantastic job. Thank you so much for constantly, making quality every single week for a Saturday. And for all of you out there that have watched my videos and all that, and are still watching right now, I appreciate it, and thank you so much for being with me on this journey. You all have a very wonderful day or night, wherever you live, and please be safe. Stay healthy. Chibi out.